Hey guys, in this deep dive, we break down how cell pings work, analyze Jay's possible movement patterns, and explore whether foul play was at play. Was he chased, coerced, or even transported? If the timeline doesn't add up, the truth might be hidden in the data. Join the discussion. What do you think the pings reveal? Let's piece this puzzle together. Today, we're diving deep into the science of cell phone triangulation and why it might be absolutely crucial in understanding the final movements of Jay. If we had access to all the ping data, the implications could be massive. The key question, did Jay's phone ping in all four ravines? If so, what does that tell us? According to Luggy, Jay's phone pinged in all four ravines. We assume this information originally came from the Guardia Civil, which raises significant questions about the movement of Jay, or at least his phone. Beyond natural explanations, we must consider the possibility of foul play. If the sequence of pings suggests unnatural movement patterns, involvement of another party cannot be ruled out. Understanding the limits and strengths of cell triangulation could be key to unraveling what really happened. How cell phone triangulation works. Cell phone triangulation relies on signal strength and distance from cell towers rather than precise coordinates like GPS. Given the remote nature of Masca, we believe all cell triangulation in this case could only be done via two towers. Unlike GPS, which provides pinpoint accuracy, cell triangulation works by measuring the phone's distance from one or more towers and estimating its position based on signal delay and strength. A single tower provides only a radius, meaning the phone could be anywhere within that circle. With two towers, the phone's location is estimated where the two circles overlap. Three or more towers improve accuracy, forming a triangulated position. However, this method is still far less precise than GPS and can be affected by terrain, tower density, and environmental interference. Additionally, cell towers have varying ranges depending on terrain and technology. In urban areas with dense tower coverage, triangulation can be more accurate. However, in remote mountainous regions like Masca, where coverage is sparse and terrain obstructs signals, triangulation has a much wider margin of error. A phone's ping does not always indicate movement, as a stationary phone can shift between towers due to signal fluctuations. However, when combined with timestamps, consecutive pings can paint a clearer picture of movement patterns. More sophisticated analysis, such as time-based distance calculations, could determine whether a person was walking, running, or in a vehicle. Breaking down the ravines, Masca Gorge, Ravine 2 is the first ravine encountered when moving uphill from Masca. Juan Lopez, Ravine 3, is further up from Masca Gorge, where Jay's body was found. Los Carrizales, Ravine 4, is higher up beyond Juan Lopez. There is also an unidentified ravine, Ravine 1, either higher up or further down from the others. If we plot when his phone pinged in these locations, we can infer movement patterns, direction of travel, and whether an external force may have influenced his movements. The terrain between these ravines is crucial to understanding the difficulty of movement. The Masca area is known for its treacherous hiking trails, with steep inclines, cliffs, and dense vegetation. Movement between these ravines is not linear or straightforward. If Jay was moving between ravines, he would likely have done so via the road. Analyzing movement patterns, direction, and possible foul play cell triangulation not only tells us where the phone was at a given time, but also provides insight into directional movement by analyzing the sequence of pings and their timing. If any movements seem unnatural or inconsistent with the terrain, we must consider external involvement. If pings follow a progressive pattern from Masca to Masca Gorge to Juan Lopez, this suggests Jay was heading upward naturally. However, if there are inexplicable jumps in location or time gaps, could someone have forced him further along this path? If Jay was being chased, coerced, or led by another person, this could explain an otherwise unnatural route. If ping suggests Jay went up toward Juan Lopez then back down to Masca Gorge, this raises serious concerns. If his phone pinged closer to Masca Gorge after he was already deeper into Juan Lopez, how does that make sense? A key question emerges. Did someone take his phone and move it away from his body to distort the timeline? Could an attacker have led him into Juan Lopez, then moved his phone separately to Masca Gorge To create confusion? The fact that his body was found in Juan Lopez contradicts the idea that he went back toward Masca Gorge voluntarily. If pings show he reached Los Carrizales before hitting the GPS location, this suggests he was heading further up before coming back. But why? Was he running from someone? Did he meet someone who led him further before things took a turn? If distances between pings are too large for walking speeds, this suggests transport. Was he picked up by someone? If the phone pinged near Masca after the GPS timestamp, this suggests movement away from the ravine. A critical red flag is raised if Jay's body was found in Juan Lopez, but the phone later pinged elsewhere. This could indicate deliberate phone movement to manipulate the timeline. Was his phone carried away and discarded later to mislead investigators? If towers in different locations connected to the phone in quick succession, this implies travel at a speed faster than walking. Was a vehicle involved? If so, who was driving it? This could indicate Jay was either willingly in a car or, worse, transported against his will. A crucial aspect to examine is whether Jay's phone was actively used during the time of these pings. Were there any outgoing messages, calls, or app activity that indicate direct interaction? If the phone was registering pings but showed no other signs of activity, it raises the possibility that it was separated from Jay and transported independently. Could this explain the suspect phone activity reported by his friends? Key questions that cell triangulation might answer. Did Jay and his phone move separately? If his phone pings after the GPS location in an illogical place, someone else may have had it. Could we calculate speed? Cell triangulation can estimate travel speed based on time between pings. If movement was too fast for walking, was a vehicle involved? Was the phone movement intentional misdirection? If the phone was moved away from his body, was this an attempt to throw off the investigation? Could the timestamps of the pings reveal key discrepancies in the established timeline? Were there any overlapping pings, indicating the phone was switching between towers in a manner inconsistent with movement on foot? A sudden jump between distant towers could suggest an external force moving the phone rapidly rather than natural movement. Final thoughts. If we could get precise timestamps and locations for all Jay's phone pings, we might crack open this case. The sequence of pings could tell us whether he moved in a logical path or was coerced, if someone else had his phone and moved it separately, or if he was transported in a vehicle against his will. Given the inconsistencies, I believe cell triangulation could reveal more than we've been led to believe. If the pings contradict the timeline or location of his body, then we have a major problem. This is why we need access to the raw data. Because something just doesn't add up. Thanks for watching. As always, I welcome your thoughts and opinions in the comments below.